If you still have this religious mindset that demonized African spirituality, that tells you that people who practice African spirituality, that traditional practitioners, that idol worshippers are demonic people, that they are evil people, then you need to work on your mindset. Yes, you really need to work on your mindset, because not everyone who practices spirituality are evil. Like, let me be honest with you. African spirituality don't support evil. It doesn't support evil. If you still have this mindset that that's your uncle, that's your auntie that practices tradition, African tradition, Igbo tradition, African spirituality, that's your uncle, that's your auntie, that is a native doctor, that they are evil, that they are the reason you are suffering. If whenever you are praying, you create this kind of mindset, if you create this kind of imagination that the people who you see in your imagination as your enemies are that your auntie or that your uncle that is practicing an African tradition, then you need to work on your mindset. Because African spirituality, African tradition, when I talk about spirituality, when I talk about tradition, I'm talking about spirituality because our tradition, our African tradition, leads us direct to spirituality. It connects us to our spiritual family, the ancestors of our bloodline and all that. It helps us to discover where we come from spiritually. So when you're talking about African tradition, you are automatically talking about spirituality, which religion don't even connect people deeply to spirituality. It doesn't help people to become the master of their own reality. But that is bad way. So if you still have this mentality that all the people practicing spirituality are evil people, you still see our African tradition as a demonic practice, then you really need to work on your mindset. In the old days, when our ancestors was still practicing spirituality, when they was still very strong in our African tradition, I can assure you that there was no much evil then like that than how the world is now. Like the world the African was more better that time when it comes to committing crimes, evildoers. African was more better then, was more peaceful then, because as of that time, if you steal, the god of the land will fight you until you will confess. There are so many compounds you cannot enter to steal. You won't be able to survive it as of that time. And if you, as of that time, you as a married woman or you as a married man that cheats, the god of the land always come against the person. Once you cheat like this, once a married woman cheats as of that time, Ajani, the mother earth will attack the person, will force the person to confess. That is how the African was as of that time. And our men also don't cheat they don't cheat as of that time, because they also face the consequences. Cheating as a married woman as of that time makes men to lose their spiritual power. It makes them to become spiritually weak. So the only thing our men was doing that time is there was polygamous in nature. Instead of them to cheat, because they were all a traditional practice that was very deep in tradition, in spirituality. So instead of them to cheat on their wife, they would prefer to marry a second or a third wife. That is what they was doing. That is why our forefathers, our ancestors, were all polygamous in nature, because they were afraid of facing the consequences of the god of the land, which is the mother earth. So stop having such a mindset that our African tradition, our African spirituality, that people who practice African spirituality are all evil. Because that is not true.